Hey guys, it's Shelly with Designs by Shelly Buchanan. Today I'm going to show you how to wrap a tumbler. Here's the design for this one. And this is the tumbler that I'm using. And I done 8.1 inches tall and 9.35 inches wide. So I'm just going to, I've got a heat mat I'm laying in my lap just to have something kind of flat to lay it on. Turn this down so y'all can see. And so you're just going to lay your tumbler on the design, and it is going to be a pretty tight fit, so we should not have to trim for this one. If you do it a little bit bigger, you can. You just trim it, and that way your design seems like it doesn't have issues ghosting or anything at the bottom. If you do have a lot of overlay, I do suggest trimming it, because anything extra, it tries to push that air out, and there's just more space for air to build up. So we're going to take one side, and I'm taking this side right here. You'll lay your cup, kind of pull it a little bit, and you're going to pull this side and pull it tight. And then just have your tape ready, and tape right here in the center so y'all can see kind of what I've done. And then you're just going to keep your design pulled tight, and I'm just going to go up a little bit and another piece. And this is going to be a quick video just to show y'all how to do this. You'll just kind of keep sliding up and throwing another piece of tape on as you go. And I am going to be using a convection oven. I'm actually not videoing that part today just because I see a lot of people asking how to wrap them, but I think most people kind of understand the convection oven process. But I do have a video posted of a sippy cup on how to do them. It's very simple. You put them in there, you turn them every 2 minutes. I turn mine. For sippy cups, I do 8 minutes at 400 degrees, and for regular tumblers like this one, I do 400 degrees for 6 minutes. The only difference between this one and the sippy cup is the sippy cup I do give 2 extra minutes because they seem like they have a thicker coating on them, and it takes a little bit longer for your ink to transfer. But now your cup is going to look like this. I just start from the center, go to the top, start back at the center, and go to the bottom. And then see how right here we do not have much of an overlay. That is what, if you have a little bit extra, if you've done a taller design on it, then you would just trim that off so you do not have to worry about that. And then you will just take your tape, and I always just fold it on the inside of the cup to start. You can do it either way, and just run down the seam and cut. I mean, it is very simple once you figure out how to do it. So I just ran right along the seam. And for this next part, you can use anything. You just smooth along the seam itself. And then I'll just run my finger down it, make sure any of that extra air has came out. And then my tape is going to get stuck on me. There we go. This next part, you're going to see, I always start at the seam just so I know where I started at. And you're just going to pull your tape tight all the way around the cup. Kind of looks dumb right now. And then you'll move your tape up just a little bit, and I'll explain why. So I do 2 loops. One loop farther down, and then I go up and do another loop. And then cut your tape. So now you have this little bit of an overhang right here. So if you just fold that inside of your cup, it pulls this design part up here like flat onto the cup instead of it having a little bit of an air gap right there. Because if you just leave it, a lot of times air will get down right around here, and that's what causes what they call ghosting. So I always make sure to do that. You can use silicone bands. There are a lot of people who use them. I personally have not tried silicone bands at this point, but this is just the easiest and quickest way for me to do this. So once you've got that done, just kind of run it around, make sure all that air is out, and then we're going to do the same thing to the bottom, and we are almost done with this. That'll tell you how quick it is. And like I said, once you get the hang of it and you've done it a few times, then it's no problem whatsoever. It does take a few times your first few times to make sure that you're doing it all right. And your tape does not have to be even. You will see that mine is not. The big thing is with on your second loop around, the one that overhangs, is just to make sure that you do get enough of an overhang that your tape is taller than your design, so that when you push it down, the tape is able to hold on to the cup for you. And I mean, all I'm doing is just running my finger and it's pushing the design and that tape down. But if you kind of push your finger from right here and then push it up, it will fold your design over and help push out any of that excess air. And then you're just going to do this. Next step is shrink wrap. Got a dog and a kid in the background. So for this part, just slide your cup in. I turn my heat gun on the highest setting just to, I mean, it's a quick process that way. You can do it on the lower setting. It does just take a little bit longer. I just start, you can start top, bottom, whatever. But I do one end and then I do the other end. So now all I have to do is get this air out. And if you start along the seam, that'll kind of give you a marker, but you will be able to tell either way where your air bubbles are. And I just try to smooth out the biggest portion of the air bubbles. A lot of people will get out all of them. You actually do not have to if you just are in a hurry to get it done or anything, because the heat from it being in the convection oven will smooth out the rest of them. I just try to get out, you can tell there's a big one right there. I try to get out stuff like that, because if not, it takes it longer to get that out. So just to make sure that my design switches over really good. Then I do one more run over the whole thing, seam, or the ends, and then the seam. And you can tell right here, this is where your seam is, and y'all will notice on the bottom of it, when I pulled my tape down, I left it longer so you can tell, like right here is where the seam ends and it goes all the way up. The reason for that is when I put it in my convection oven, I will have this end facing towards me so I can tell, and I set it in there like this to start with, and I'll do 400 degrees, and then after 2 minutes I turn to the side, and after another 2 minutes I turn to this side. I never actually lay it directly on the seam. You can, and I have done it. I just do that so that, pretty much that's how I've done it the most times. So I do that so that I know that's how I started instead of turning it this way the first time. It's just confusing as to if I've already laid it on that side. So since that's just typically how I do them, is doing the seam up top, that's how I do mine. I mean, you can do it either way though. But you just do 400 degrees and you do 6 minutes. Turn it every 2. I let them sit for about 10 seconds. We'll cool it off enough to put it in the convection oven. I just don't want it too hot and then the design to burn, so I'll let it sit for a few seconds and throw it in the convection oven. I do suggest though, while you are doing your taping your design and stuff, to go ahead and have your convection oven warming up, just so that you do not have to wait on it to get to temperature or anything. That way by the time you get done, your convection oven is heated up. Thank y'all guys for watching, and let me know if y'all have any suggestions on videos y'all would like to see.